Okay, brilliant. Loads of new people tonight. That's wonderful. All right, so you're in luck. If you're new and you've never done holographic breathing before, you're in luck, because I'm going to teach holographic breathing today. I'll talk a bit about we're going to do lots of different things, but I'll talk a little bit about holographic breathing, as there's so many new people to it. As I said, holographic breathing started when I was dying of Lyme's disease. I was pretty well a goner. God touched me, this energy came through, and this breathing started. As simple as that. And I've used holographic breathing to heal myself of Lyme disease. Lyme disease attacks the brain, or with me, the brain, the central nervous system. And with holographic breathing, you get this lovely breathing motion through the face, through the cranium, through the brain, the whole nervous system. And I was able to use that to heal my brain, to clear the Lyme disease, and also to help clear, because Lyme disease damages the brain, to be able to clear that damage from my whole nervous system. I can't say it's fully repaired, but I'm alive, it's 25 years later, and I've cleared it all, so it works good in that. And in holographic breathing, the lips are closed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and the breath is through the nose. And with the lips closed and the tongue on the roof of the mouth, there's a gentle motion of the jaw. On the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening, and on the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing. And we will be doing a guided meditation where I'll bring that in, because it's very hard just to do that. It can be quite awkward, but I bring it in a particular way, so it just starts naturally for people. And when that breathing starts, this subtle motion of the breath starts moving through the whole body. With this movement of the mouth, that dynamic moves through the whole face, through the whole cranium, through the spine, through the pelvis, through the whole body. So for the new people, I wouldn't advise trying to do the movement just yet. It's probably best to wait until we do the instructions in the meditation, but it's good to start off with just become used to, while I'm talking, just become used to having your tongue on the roof of the mouth, tip of the tongue close to or touching the front teeth, and as much of the tongue on the roof of the mouth as possible. Not as possible, as feels comfortable. So the lips are closed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. It's not the tip of the tongue, it's the flat of the tongue. The breath is through the nose. So just while I'm talking about whatever I'm talking about, just allow that to be in that place, get used to that, and then when we come into the jaw movement and this movement through the whole body, it will just open much more naturally. So we're going to be learning holographic breathing. We're going to be working with this breathing motion through the face and through the cranium and the whole body. And I'm becoming quite well known for making up new words, and I made up a new word today, which is craniofacial breathing. We're going to be doing craniofacial breathing, where the whole face, the whole cranium breathes. You've heard of cranial breathing, you've heard of brain breathing, now you've got craniofacial breathing, because you can't really separate the face from the cranium. Not with the breath. With the breath, they breathe at the same time. The whole structure of the breath in holographic breathing works through the face, from the front and from the diaphragm, works through the back of the body, back of the diaphragm, into the cranium, and it all works together in holographic breathing to create this breathing motion. You don't get one without the other. You don't get the cranium breathing without the face breathing. You don't get the face breathing without the cranium breathing. We're going to work with that. And we're also going to work in the second meditation, we're going to work with the energies of the lungs. We're going to work with different dynamics of the breath through the whole body. And we're going to release the kundalini a bit, the sexual potency from the pelvis to come up through the spine, through the central brain complex, and enlighten the brain and to connect to the divine beings or the higher self. There is a spiritual context to holographic breathing. You can channel with holographic breathing. You can create this inner dialogue through your whole body where you can feel your anatomy, where you can feel your energies, and it's like reflections of the face, reflections of the brain, reflections of the cranium through the whole body. And those reflections carry on out of us into nature, into the earth, into the subtle realms, into the higher self. And we'll be working with that in ourselves, but also relating to it in the earth and the higher self. And normally something happens on the day, I have everything set up, how I'm going to teach it. And on the day that I'm actually going to teach it, something happens and it changes everything. And today is not any different. I will be teaching the holographic breathing. But I was just advertising this webinar on a forum. It's called the Great Work Forum, where they work with the structures of the face and the maxilla, the middle of the face and the roof of the mouth a lot to try and open this area up. And I was posting on that, and there's this thing that is becoming very well known for balancing the facial structures, and it's called mewing. And I didn't really know what that was, and I thought it was a verb. I thought you're actually doing something, and I knew it was with the tongue. Anyway, I watched some YouTube videos on that, and mewing happens naturally in holographic breathing. I think when people are doing mewing, it looks a little bit forceful to start off with, and it's to push the whole of the tongue onto the roof of the mouth, the back, the middle, and the front of the tongue onto the roof of the mouth, and to somehow become used to that until that becomes the resting position. And that, just having the tongue in that position, starts forming the face, starts opening up through the palate, starts bringing the teeth straight. Now that happens naturally in holographic breathing. This movement of the jaw with the tongue on the roof of the mouth, the tongue is being massaged all of the time, and it starts becoming more and more relaxed and feels larger, and slowly from the front of the tongue being on the roof mouth, the middle starts rising up, then the back of the tongue moves up, so the whole tongue is over the roof of the mouth. But there's a further dynamic in holographic breathing that takes that onto a whole new level. When the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, especially when all of it comes on the roof of the mouth, it suckles itself to the roof of the mouth. It makes this light seal and vacuum, suction to the roof of the mouth. And as the jaw is dropping, the tongue is dropping, and with the roof of the mouth it's domed like this, and as you breathe in, comes down and flattens on the in-breath and rises. So you start getting this motion of the roof of the mouth with the tongue. And it's not so much instigated from the jaw. What happens is the diaphragm is dropping. Then the lungs, the heart, the trachea, the esophagus, they're on top of the diaphragm, they drop down. The esophagus, the trachea drops, the hyoid bone drops, tongue is connected to the hyoid bone, the tongue drops, and this creates the same as the diaphragm, breathing in, breathing out, and it creates this breathing motion of the face. So not only are we mewing, but there's a greater depth to it. That tongue is in that position, but it's breathing. It's moving with the breath, and that is helping to create the whole breathing motion of the face and cranium. I had an underbite when I started doing holographic breathing, and it brought my whole maxilla forwards, it balanced my face, it balanced my cranium, because it's just continually doing that breath. And when people's tongues relax in holographic breathing, it's not just they're relaxing, as we work with the tongue, it's clearing trauma, it's opening up nerve pathways, it's opening up energy pathways. And as they open, it relax into that position on the roof mouth and just stays there. That just becomes the natural position, and it stays there at night when you're asleep. And if you have insomnia, not insomnia, sleep apnea, it can cure sleep apnea, because if the tongue is risen, it can't drop down into your throat to wake you up at night. So that is actually a cure for sleep apnea. So both of those things are new today. Craniofacial breathing, and we're doing mewing and more. So in the first meditation, I'm going to teach you how to do holographic breathing, and we're going to include the tongue, and we're going to include the connection to the roof mouth. Now, for some people, not much of the tongue is going to be over the roof mouth, because it has to, you can't be forceful with it. It just goes as much as feels comfortable. So you'll get a certain amount of the dynamic. The people who've been here a long time, probably the whole tongue will be covering the roof of the mouth, but don't force it. What I want to say is, don't try and zoom to the end game. I want my whole tongue on the roof mouth, because it'll be counterproductive. If you do it in that way, it'll be counterproductive. You'll put a stress into the whole mechanism. So just as much of the tongue on the roof mouth as feels comfortable. And also after a while, probably you'll start feeling this breathing motion of the roof mouth, and how that spreads through the face and cranium and makes this new word, craniofacial breathing. I love that word. So you're the first people. Everybody here, probably that name has never been said before. You email me if you think it's been said before. You are the first people on this planet to hear craniofacial breathing, and you're the first people to do craniofacial breathing. So you can make yourself a little certificate. I was in that first webinar. You will also be the first people to do dynamic mewing, mewing with the breath. So you're getting much more than, it was free anyway. You get this breathing system that will change your life and heal you from almost anything as long as you apply yourself. You get to be one of the first people to do dynamic mewing, or in the first group to do dynamic mewing, and you get to be in the first webinar to do craniofacial breathing. I can feel my whole neck aligning. As I say that word, I can feel it. Maybe it's got to be craniofacial neck breathing. Includes the neck. Hasn't got quite such a ring to it. All right, so I'm going to describe holographic breathing again. The lips are relaxed and closed. The tongue is relaxed and on the roof mouth. Relaxed with the tongue. Don't try and force more onto the roof of the mouth than feels pleasurable. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth, and it's just as much as feels comfortable on the roof of the mouth. The lips are closed, the breath is through the nose. Sorry if I'm slowing up a bit, as this whole channel is coming through at the minute. It's a little bit hard to speak as it comes through. There is a spiritual content to holographic breathing. When I talk in these webinars and when I teach it, it comes through, and often it sends people to sleep. If you start going to sleep, don't fight it, it's all right. You know, you'll go in and out of consciousness. So within that, within having the lips closed, the tongue on the roof mouth, the breath through the nose, on the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening. On the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing. And the lips stay closed, the tongue stays on the roof of the mouth. One thing that occasionally happens is that someone says, how's that possible? Again, to the meditation, how is that possible? How can you open and close the jaw and keep the lips closed? Well, you can. I'm going to demonstrate it now. So I'm just going to do a few breaths with holographic breathing, and you'll see that one, it's very relaxed. Two, it's a small motion, tiny, 2 or 3 millimeters, 1/4 of an inch movement of the jaw. Just a subtle breathing motion. There's no tension. Very meditative. But you'll notice the lips stay closed. And once I start, I don't really want to come back. It has a really profound, meditative, shamanistic type quality to it. So for the newcomers, we're going to do a little tester just so that you can get, before we start, we're just going to do a little tester so you can get the experience that you can move the jaw and have your lips closed. So I want everybody having your lips closed and then just moving the jaw up and down, a bit as like you're chewing, just to get the experience that you can move the jaw and you can keep the lips closed. And notice it's easy to keep your lips closed. Just doing that for a little bit, just to get the experience, aha, I can move my jaw and keep my lips closed. Okay, and you can let that come to an end. There's no special breathing. It's not connected breath work. You have spaces between the breaths. It's not fast. It's not slow. It's just what feels comfortable. In the learning of it, you're just doing what feels comfortable. The jaw is opening on the in-breath and closing on the out-breath. So on the in-breath, the jaw is opening. On the out-breath, it's closing. The lips are closed all of the time. The tongue is on the roof of the mouth all the time. Now, you won't have to remember that because it's a guided meditation. I will go over that lots and lots of times. Now, it's incredibly relaxing. So, hang on, another question. Okay, great, okay. So it's incredibly relaxing. An important thing to do if you're new is to do it sitting up. Just for this first meditation, do it sitting up, because if you're new and you do it lying down, there's a good chance you'll just pass out or go to sleep and miss how to do it. It's fine to do that once you know how to do it, but if you do that halfway through the instructions, you'll miss how to actually do holographic breathing. So if it's your first time, be seated, be upright, so that you can properly stay conscious. In the second meditation, you can lie down. All right, we are going to start. So we're going to go over everything I said. So closing your eyes. For the people who know holographic breathing, allowing the holographic breathing. For people who don't know the holographic breathing, just breathing in a relaxed way with the lips closed and with the upper surface of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And we're going to bring in some resources, sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and allow the earth to say hello back. Allow yourself to receive from the earth. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. Allow yourself to commune with the earth. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies. The beneficial energies, any beneficial channels, higher energies, divine beings that you like to work with. As long as it's beneficial, that is fine. The higher self and the beneficial energies. Send a smile, send some energy, and allow them to say hello back to you. Allow yourself to receive from the higher self and the beneficial energies, and notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies, being aware of your neck and your throat, allowing your neck to be relaxed. Quite a lot of energy moving through people's necks. The tongue is relaxed on the roof of the mouth, the tip of the tongue close to or touching the front teeth. The lips are closed. The breath is through the nose. And start just gently moving the jaw up and down. Not in line with the breath at the moment, just moving it up and down, noticing that you can move the jaw, you can keep the lips closed, you can keep the tongue on the roof mouth. Small, relaxed motions of the jaw. Breathing through the nose. And then slowing that down. And as the jaw is opening, allow the breath to come in through the nose. And as the jaw is closing, allow the breath to leave through the nose. Jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves through the nose. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. The lips stay closed all of the time. Notice it feels like a little bellows. As the bellows opens, draws the breath in through the nose. As the bellows closes, it exhales the breath through the nose. So as the jaw is opening, the breath is drawn in. As the jaw is closing, the breath leaves. It's just a small, relaxed motion, half a finger width. Small, relaxed motion of the jaw. Relax the back of the neck. Relax the back of the head. We're now going to change the whole emphasis. Rather than having the emphasis on the jaw and starting from the jaw, bring the awareness to the nose. And as the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. As the breath leaves through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice everything softens. Everything becomes much softer, more relaxed. And you move into an altered state of consciousness. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open just a small amount. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Just very slightly opening on the in-breath, it balances and it gently relaxes back together on the out-breath. As the teeth come together in the out-breath, there's no pressure. You don't clench the teeth just float together, or they don't quite touch. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. Lips stay relaxed, and closed all of the time. The tongue stays relaxed and on the roof of the mouth. And once that's going, it just integrates in with the breath and becomes part of the breath. So your chest is opening, the jaw relaxes open. As the chest is closing, the jaw relaxes closed. The jaw just moves with the movement of the breath and the muscles of the breath. The same muscles that are opening the chest are opening the jaw. Breathing out, it all relaxes and the jaw relaxes back together. The in-breath, the abdomen is opening, the jaw is opening. On the out-breath, the abdomen is closing, the jaw is closing. They move together. It's all integrated into the breath. Notice how natural it feels. It just becomes part of the breath. It's meant to be. It's not a technique. It's as if we have always known this breathing, as if it has always been there, just waiting to start, and we have brought the spark, and that breath has started. Notice how nourishing it feels. Notice you can feel right down inside your pelvis, down into the pelvic floor, down into the hips. Pelvis opening out to the sides as you breathe in. And pelvis closing immediately as you breathe out, effortlessly, no effort. And in a very subtle way, the bones of your face have started breathing, and the bones of your cranium have started breathing. Your whole face and cranium have started to breathe. Your brain has started to breathe. Your neck and throat have started to breathe. One breath, your whole body breathes, including the face, the brain, the cranium and the neck. Your arms and legs are breathing. Everything is breathing. Get a nice breath down into your abdomen. Notice how easy it makes it to breathe with the abdomen. Also notice how the holographic breathing feels like a very subtle form of suckling. The baby balances and orchestrates its whole body and its energy with suckling. We can do that in a very gentle way with holographic breathing. When you breathe with the abdomen, the diaphragm is pulling down as you breathe in, and the diaphragm is rising as you breathe out. But as you feel the abdomen expand, notice how you feel a little as if the tongue is being drawn down a little bit. And as you breathe out, as the diaphragm rises, the tongue rises a little bit. It's obviously very subtle compared to the diaphragm. But if you're aware of your abdominal breathing, tongue relaxes down on the in-breath and the tongue rises on the out-breath. But from suckling, we have this innate ability to let the tongue suckle to the roof of the mouth, so it can stay on the roof of the mouth, and so it stays on it. It just pulls down as if there's a slight tension pulling it down, and then a slight relaxation up on the out-breath, but it stays suckled to the roof of the mouth. As the tongue comes down, the roof of the mouth drops and opens. As the tongue rises, the roof of the mouth rises and domes, very subtly. No force. You mustn't force this. You mustn't force more of the tongue on the roof of the mouth than feels comfortable, and not to force the movement of the roof of the mouth. It just will happen as much as it wants to happen, but you can allow the tongue and the roof of the mouth to become like energy, so the movement feels larger than it is. The in-breath, the abdomen is expanding. There's this very slight dropping of the tongue and the roof of the mouth, and an expansion to the sides. Breathing out, the abdomen contracts, the tongue relaxes back up, the roof of the mouth relaxes back up and domes. And this starts the breathing motion of the maxilla, the maxillary sinuses, the nasal passageways, the ethmoid between the eyes. This all starts breathing like a pair of lungs. Notice the upper and middle face is like the lungs and heart. The abdomen is like the mouth. The tongue and abdomen are like the tongue and the abdomen is like the tongue and mouth. And the nasal passageways and sinuses are like the lungs and heart. Breathing in, the abdomen drops, the roof of the mouth and tongue drops, the lungs and sinuses open. Breathing out, the abdomen relaxes, the tongue relaxes back up, the roof of the mouth domes up, the sinuses and nasal passageways narrow. The maxilla starts to breathe. The maxilla houses all of that. Very gentle. It just happens. You don't have to do anything. Relax the back of your neck. Relax the back of your head. There's a lot going on in people's necks at the minute. Let your neck be relaxed. And as the tongue and the roof of the mouth move like this, notice how that starts spreading through your whole face, through your brain, through your cranium, through the spine, through the cervical spine. It's starting to affect the spine in people's necks. Allow your neck to relax and allow that movement to travel through your neck and the back of your head. The front of the body is relating to the face, the back of the body relating to the cranium, and they're breathing all together as one. And there's a movement of the face and cranium, or the cranium and face, which the roof of the mouth and tongue align with. And the other way round, the tongue and the roof of the mouth help orchestrate the movement of the cranium. It all works together as one breath. The craniofacial breathing. We're doing craniofacial breathing and mewing, dynamic mewing. I told you you'd learn something new. Let that go through your brain. As the tongue relaxes, you'll start getting access to the brain. Notice how the tongue relates to the brain. People's brains are starting to wake up now. Breathing motion of the tongue relates to the breathing motion of the brain. The tongue becomes more relaxed and breathing, the brain becomes more relaxed and breathing. The tongue also connects to your whole digestion. All of the organs, the heart, the lungs, and all of the digestion and organs and genitalia. People are moving from the bones to the tongue and the viscera and the organs. And as it does, notice it opens a channel to the higher self. For some reason, a channel has started coming in, so also being aware of a spiritual quality coming to you. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing, the tongue gently moving with the holographic breathing, everything breathing, every cell in your body starting to breathe. Notice how it spreads through every cell, every bone, every organ, every strand of DNA. Breathing with holographic breathing. Okay, so we're going to come back in about a minute. letting that all calm down. Okay, and when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. Okay. Someone said, does brain trauma affect holographic breathing? It's healed my Lyme's disease and the major shock and destruction done by the Lyme's disease. The spirochete cells drill their way into the meninges of the brain, causing a lot of scar tissue. They drill into the glial cells, the brain cells, into the myelinating glial cells, the myelin sheath. So to get better, if you've had it for a long time, I didn't realize until I was nearly dead that I had Lyme's disease. So it's been a long journey getting back, but that continual breathing motion of the cranium, that continual breathing motion of the brain has brought life back to that whole area. So yes, it can help with that. Someone said they thought it was the same as Wim Hof, but obviously it's not. It's much softer. You never force holographic. You don't have to force holographic breathing. It's powerful in its softness. The softer you do it, the more powerful it will be. Someone mentioned with the movement of the roof of the mouth, they could really feel the whole face and cranial breathing, or the craniofacial breathing. And were they forcing it? And you can move the tongue more strongly. And yes, you can force that, but don't. Soft, gentle. You don't want to move the tongue. You don't want to move the roof of the mouth. As the diaphragm drops, the tongue and the roof of the mouth will drop. As the diaphragm rises, the tongue and the roof of the mouth will rise. You don't want anything, any extra in that. The tongue on the roof of the mouth, don't force it, not like in mewing where you push it up, or from the videos I watch, you push it up to get it into that place. More and more of the tongue will come over the roof of the mouth the more you practice holographic breathing. Be patient. It will be detrimental to push the tongue onto the roof of the mouth, or the back of the tongue onto the roof of the mouth, and do holographic breathing. Must be gentle, must be natural, in its own time. And if you force it, you're not dealing with the trauma, the toxins, whatever's happened in the tongue. But if you're doing it softly, continually, the tongue is letting go of all the different force vectors, the toxins, the stress, and as those leave, it naturally fills out the whole roof mouth. So if you just push it there, you miss out on clearing all of that stuff. As that clears, the tongue expands, the tongue becomes soft, and it wants to rise up. That is the process we're doing. In a natural way, I don't know if people notice it, when you become aware of your tongue, you become aware of the brain. You can start healing the brain. You become aware of the organs. You become aware of the digestion. It connects to the vagus nerve. If it's relaxed, it will do that. If it's tense, it won't. So everything is natural in holographic breathing. but as I did it, my asthma went away. Well, that's good. Yeah, it helps with asthma. I taught it, I've been teaching it for 20 years now. And one of the original teachers, her son had asthma. She taught it to her son, and whenever an asthma attack was coming on, he would do holographic breathing. It stopped his asthma. There was a child in this same class who had asthma, and he taught it to him, healed his asthma as well. It's not like the asthma's gone, but when the asthma attack is coming on, they'd do holographic breathing, and it would calm their breath down, calm their nervous systems down, and the asthma would leave. I'm just going to see the diaphragm. Is the stomach going in or out with the first breath? Unless you're breathing backwards, I'm not going to answer it how it said, unless you're breathing backwards, and some people are. Some people tighten their stomach as they're breathing in. But if your diaphragm is moving, on the in-breath, the abdomen will expand. On the out-breath, the abdomen will contract. You'll give yourself a hernia if breathing in, you contract your stomach, because the abdomen's pushing down, you're pushing in, you're condensing and tightening everything. Diaphragm drops, it all expands. Diaphragm rises, it all comes back in. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. From the sides, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. No one else would do that for you. Special arm movements for how to breathe. I'm not sure where to take this. I'm not sure we're going to have time to do it in depth that I wanted to. I'm just letting the energies come through. We have 2 advanced webinars happening, and they're not expensive. The advanced webinars, they're £29 for 4 2-hour webinars. They normally go over a bit. So they're not expensive. In one, we are just working with the tongue, and that will loosen the tongue. We're connecting it to the brain, the different areas of the brain that relate to different energy systems, the different areas of the tongue that relate to the different energy systems, how it relates to the different organs and their energy systems. And that is a 4-week advanced webinar series. I highly recommend that. We're starting one next Sunday when we're working with the lung circuit. There's 6 different energy circuits we work with in holographic breathing. Next Sunday we'll go into this in a small way. In this second meditation, we'll open the lung circuit. I'm just looking around for a book and I can't see it, so I won't use it. But the maxillary sinus, the roof of the mouth, looks a bit like a diaphragm, same dome as a diaphragm. If you section through the face, the nasal passageways look like the heart, have the energy of the heart, and you've got 2 big maxillary sinuses here, full of air, full of breath. These are the lungs for the face. The jaw is like the pelvis for the face. The tongue is like the abdomen and organs for the face. And to open the lung circuit, these sinuses here open. And the lung circuit is very much to do with the sideways breathing. Breathing in, breathing out through the whole body and through the face and cranium. Breathing in, breathing out. In the brain, relates to the cranial fluid in the brain and around the brain. So you get this breathing motion relates to the sinuses, the whole maxillary area relates to the lungs. Very particular energy. In the abdomen, the lungs for the abdomen, at the sides and across the top is the colon. So you get this breathing motion through the torso, to the sides, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, through the cranium, breathing in, breathing out. So we will drop into and start experiencing this sideways motion. Second half of the lung circuit is the vertical energy, the kundalini. There's 6 circuits and all of them have a base in the sexual energies. The fire energies relate to the uterus, the prostate, the ovaries and testes. The yellow energies relate to the clitoris and erectile tissue of the penis. The blue energies relate to the urethra, the vagina, soft tissue of the penis. The lung energy circuit, even though some people don't think of it as sexual, it carries a sexual energy. It's part of the pelvic floor and it's the rectum. The colon drops into the rectum and that brings the energy onto the center line, and the rectum sat back into the sacrum. And as you drop into that energy, the sphincter muscle releases and the kundalini releases through the spine, through the central brain complex, through the thalamus, through the third eye, and awakens the whole energy of the brain and connects to the higher self. So we're going to go into this in a minor way, but if you want to come to a 4-week webinar series where we will go into that in depth, you can click on the link in the comments. You can enroll for that. The advanced webinars are a bit like a family. People know each other. We go into things in quite a lot of depth. Normally most people are already healers and quite advanced in their own way. We do it in a very general way in these 3 webinars. We really work in a powerful and in-depth way in the advanced webinars. Now that doesn't mean that these 3 webinars are not potent. I'm biased, but I don't know anything as revolutionary, evolutionary, and as potent as holographic breathing. You can just do that on your own, in your own way, and it will evolve and you will evolve. Your brain will evolve, you'll start channeling more, you'll start getting better from all sorts of the things. But if you wish, you can come to the advanced webinars and really learn an in-depth healing system, inner healing system of the organs and energies that unfolds in holographic breathing. So we're going to go into that in a very gentle way because there's so many new people. Some people who have done it more will experience it more. If you've just learned holographic breathing for the first time tonight, just doing that is plenty. If you can experience all of these other things, brilliant. All right, off we go. So I think that's it. Let me turn, oh, that is up. So closing your eyes. And dropping into the holographic breathing. The lips are relaxed and closed. The tongue is relaxed and on the roof of the mouth. On the in-breath, the jaw gently opens, and on the out-breath, the jaw gently closes. Notice how easily it comes. It's like riding a bike. Once you've done it, you'll know it forever. You'll always just be able to drop into it. It is part of our breath. It just had to be brought to life. Tongue relaxed on the roof of the mouth, the lips relaxed and closed. Small, subtle motion of the jaw with the breath. Opens a little bit and balances on the in-breath. Closes on the out-breath. Relax the back of the neck, relax the back of the head, relax the brain. Notice how you go into a deep, meditative, shamanistic space as soon as you start holographic breathing. Just a memory, it just starts on its own, and once you've remembered it, it's there forever. Notice the tongue might be feeling a bit softer, a little bit more on the roof of the mouth. So there is this movement of the jaw where it opens slightly and balances, closes on the out-breath. But there's also a sideways motion. On the in-breath, the jaw, the face, opening to the sides as you breathe in. Closing back to the middle as you breathe out. The sides of the cranium opening to the sides as you breathe in, closing back to the middle as you breathe out. The neck, it's like gills, as if there's gills in your neck that spread up around the cranium. Breathing in, the neck opens to the sides. Breathing out, closes medially. The chest, opening out sideways as you breathe in, closing medially as you breathe out. There's many different ways to experience the breath, and this is the sideways motion. The arms, opening out to the sides as you breathe in, coming back to the middle as you breathe out. The abdomen does open forwards, but it also opens to the sides, opening out to the sides as you breathe in. Back into the middle as you breathe out. The pelvis, the sides of the pelvis, the legs, opening up sideways as you breathe in. Closing medially as you breathe out. You start feeling this gentle, soft, sideways motion. Notice how it puts a smile on your face as the face is opening. Puts this little smile on your face. And through the roof of the mouth, as it all opens, it drops and flattens. As the whole maxilla is opening, the roof of the mouth flattens. Tongue drops. Breathing out, the maxilla narrows, the whole roof of the mouth domes, and the tongue rises with it. Just feeling that sideways motion through the face, through the cranium, the whole craniofacial breathing to the sides, opening to the sides as you breathe in, closing as you breathe out. Notice to feel that nicely. It's nice to drop into the back of the head. So you're viewing from the back rather than from the front or sides. And that relaxes you down. Everything opening as you breathe in. Everything closing as you breathe out. And if you move up in the face, above the roof of the mouth, there's two large sinuses, much bigger than the nasal passageway. Either side of the nasal passageway is these large sinuses that open up into the cheeks. Notice as you become aware of those sinuses, you become aware of your lungs. Notice how when those sinuses open, your lungs open. When those sinuses close, your lungs close. And this relates to the bones at the sides of the cranium, temporal bones, opening out to the sides as you breathe in, closing medially as you breathe out. And the brain is 90% water. The cells are like sea anemones with long tentacles. They're just like the sea with sea anemones and starfish and seaweed. And the cranial fluid, or the cranial sea, through the whole brain, around the whole brain and in the ventricles, it breathes. The ventricles breathe with these maxillary sinuses. This sideways motion, opening on the in-breath, closing on the out-breath. Notice how holographic breathing gives you the ability to breathe with different areas of the face, different areas of the cranium, different areas of the body. It gives you an access to your anatomy, this breathing motion of your anatomy. You can feel the cranial sea breathing. It's good to sit back of your head or behind your head, relating to your lungs, how the cranial sea and the meninges of the brain relate to your lungs. Okay, we're going to drop down into the abdomen. You drop down into the abdomen, everything drops. That sideways motion is more in the mouth, in the sides of the tongue, in the sides of the cranium. In the sides of the abdomen you have the colon. Feeling the abdomen opening to the sides as you breathe in. The colon opening to the sides as you breathe in, and this will relate to the maxillary sinuses, but it will also relate to the sides of the mouth, the sides of the tongue. Notice how you can breathe sideways with your tongue spreading out on the in-breath, narrowing on the out-breath. Relaxing your neck, relaxing your throat, relaxing your trachea. A lot of tiredness in people's throats, trachea, thyroid area. Allow that whole area to relax as we're working with the abdomen. It's also connecting to the sexual energies that are rising. And it's holding a little bit in people's throats. If you feel a rising energy, relax your throat, let it travel through your throat, through your face, through your brain. Can't really work with this sideways motion in the abdomen without it starting to ignite the sexual energies, to rise as a healing energy through the body. You can feel the whole sides of the pelvis opening, stretching out the pelvic floor as you breathe in, doming the pelvic floor as you breathe out. You can drop down right to the bottom of either side of the colon. Notice how that relates to the rectum. You feel the connection to the rectum. On the left-hand side, the colon comes around and becomes the rectum, allowing yourself to drop into your rectum. And notice how almost instantaneously you get this white shaft of energy releasing from the rectum, through the midline, through your spine, right up through the center of your brain. Especially if you let the sphincter muscle release, you'll keep releasing that sexual potency up through the spine, through the sacrum, and through your brain. It's good to relax your throat, let the energy go through your throat. Just keep letting your rectum release, letting that energy release up, healing through your body, healing through your brain. Relax your throat. Keep letting that work up through the central brain complex and right up through the thalamus. This is the third eye area in the center of your brain. Let your throat relax. Let your rectum relax. So you get the vertical motion, but also start being aware of that sideways motion again through your whole body. And that starts grounding that vertical energy. especially through the ears, sides of the head, letting the ears, the sides of the head open on the in-breath, close on the out-breath, and the tongue spreading out to the sides as you breathe in, relaxing immediately as you breathe out. Notice that healing through your spine. And come back into the vertical motion again, becoming aware of the rectum, this vertical column of energy through your body, through the center of your brain, and now also connecting to God, to the divine. Allow that to come up to the crown chakra, top of the head, and release up into the divine energies. So that energy from the sphincter muscle releasing right up through you and rising up into the beyond, into the divine, talking to God. Allow your neck to relax. Allow your throat to relax. And as you talk to God, as you allow the rectum to release, that sphincter muscle to release, allowing that to release through you and into the heavens, into the beyond. The beyond starts coming down into you. Just letting that move into a gentle breathing, incorporating sideways and vertical. Very gently, let the motion turn to energy. So you just start feeling the energies through your body, relaxing your throat, letting your rectum release, letting your genitalia release, letting the pelvic floor release, those energies rise up through you. Holographic breathing is an inner tantric kundalini meditational breathwork system. And that energy rises up through you to the gods, through your neck, through your face, through your brain, through the eyes, the top of the head, and then starts turning into vapor and rising up into the beyond, into forever, into the timeless void, into that we can't imagine. And that we can't imagine starts coming down into us and healing us. We get touched by God. We get touched by the divine, letting go of the mind, letting go of the emotions, letting go of the body, and allowing yourself to be touched by the Creator. Also allowing yourself to be connected to the earth and the earth energies. as in us in the heavens, as in us in the earth. It's a holographic, fractile system of mirrors and mirroring energies in the earth, in us, and in the higher energies. And holographic breathing opens up this tantric kundalini holographic matrix, connects us to the earth, connects us to the heavens, and connects us to ourselves and our anatomy and our energies. You start being able to view yourself. Allow those energies to travel through you. Allow the earth to heal you, or for you to fall in line with the earth, and for you to fall in line with the heavens. You are no longer an individual. You are part of a bigger picture. You are the divine. You are the earth. Letting your throat relax. Allowing yourself to be touched. Allow it to happen. Allow your brain to release, and this new concept of reality, this new way of being, this new life with the beyond, with the earth, as part of the beyond, as part of the earth, your birthright, you, your being, beyond the beyond. You transit all energies, all planes, and breathe gently with the holographic breathing. We are going to come back in about a minute. Letting that relax and settle. And sending a thank you to the earth. Sending a thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies. And thanking yourself. And letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth. For love and healing to the higher self and beneficial energies. And allowing yourself to be loved and healed. and allowing the energies to go out to all sentient beings for love and healing. And you are a sentient being, allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. So if you want to go into that more deeply, we will be starting with a 4-webinar series next Sunday. You can come to that. As I said, the link is in the comments. I'll be sending out a newsletter with the recordings of this in a couple of days, and I'll put a link to that there. There is also the webinar on the tongue, which I wasn't sure that I was going to do, but in the end I did it, and that is turning out to be a complete and utter mind blast. Really quite incredible, and for really being able to heal your own brain with the tongue. I mean, I found that webinar amazing, the first one we did of that. There's that webinar series, I'm not sure, but it in 2 or 3 weeks time anyway. So they are there. I give a lot away for free in holographic breathing. There are these because I like to give some away for free so people can actually learn the holographic breathing and get a taste of where it can go. But please consider, I know people like doing stuff for free and don't like paying for stuff, but consider paying for stuff and paying me for my time and what it's taken to bring this through. And just for the depth we go into in those advanced webinars, this is an ongoing journey. I learn as much as you guys learn. In those advanced webinars, I rarely know what I'm going to do in advance, and there is a channeled reality coming through when I'm teaching that is informing it, and I don't really know in advance. I've got the general picture of it and I know how all the energies work, but always when I teach it, a whole new channeled reality comes through, and you can be part of that. It's exciting. I don't know any breath work that opens up like holographic breathing. I really don't. It is set apart. It is a whole new reality, and that isn't to undermine or belittle other breathwork systems. You know, I use all these different types of breath. I enjoy them, but holographic breathing is different. It's not the same as these other breathwork systems. There is a whole intrinsic healing reality, matrices, maps that I find incredibly exciting and profound to learn them really and find them. So that is available, that is there in the advanced webinars. I will do another one of these free ones. We'll take this a bit deeper. I'm not sure if it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but we will do another one of these then, and we'll go into this a little bit deeper in that. So please come to that. All of those free webinars, try them out. Get me to the place where I can partner YouTube. It's the free ones, the paid for ones that I make of those. They don't count that. They only do the ones that are public. but I want to get the public videos so that YouTube will actually start promoting holographic breathing and putting it out there to people, which would just be truly wonderful.